Hello everyone. So our today's topic of discussion is reading comprehension passage number 3. So we have already discussed two passages on reading comprehension and this is the third one in the list. So we'll be doing the same thing. We'll be reading a passage. We'll be making up some notes. We'll try to understand what each passage says. We'll also try to understand what each paragraph says, not each passage. We'll try to understand what each paragraph has to say. And in total we'll try to understand what the passage is all about. Okay, what's the main idea behind the passage, the tone of the author, is it positive, negative, it's simply information, or does the author have an opinion in that, what are the important facts in each of the paragraphs, and then we'll be solving the questions. Okay, so this passage came in the common aptitude test. That's the test that is conducted by Indian Institute of Management. So I've taken up the passage from that exam. All right, it's an interesting read and a medium level of difficulty passage. All right, so let's go ahead. Okay, so the passage reads, understanding where you are in the world is a basic survival skill, which is why we, like most species, come hardwired with specialized brain areas to create cognitive maps of our surrounding. Cognitive is basically, we can put it in this bit like a mental activities, something related to like mental understanding. Okay, so understanding where you are in the world, it's a basic survival skill. So we basically here stands for humans. So we humans, like other species, we come hardwired with cognitive maps of our surrounding. Like whenever you go to a new place, you do keep some things in the observation. Okay, this is the building from where I've come, then I took left, then I took right. So that is known as cognitive understanding of your surrounding whenever you go to a new place, so that it's easier for you to come out. Where humans are unique, though, with the possible exception of honeybees, is that we try to communicate this understanding of the world with the others. Now, where we are unique, now see again, understand, I have taught you this in the previous passages also, that whenever you have information within the two commas, that's an extra piece of information. Okay, so you can like remove this and read it like this. Where humans are unique, though, is that you don't have to read whatever is written in between the two commas, that's not required. Where humans are unique, though, is that we try to communicate this understanding of the world with others. So this understanding, now this term, this here, it's basically this term that they have used here, it's for this cognitive maps of our surrounding. Like whatever we observe, whatever maps do we create in our mind of a new place, we communicate that with the others. This is basically what it means to say. Okay, for example, let's suppose you're going to a new place with your relatives, and let's suppose there are two cars. Okay, so you're the one in the car ahead and your relatives are in the car behind you. Okay, so let's suppose after like couple of turns you reach the destination, but somehow they are stuck. So you're gonna tell them, okay, so you're gonna see a building with the red board on the top, so take a left from there, then you're gonna see some XYZ shop, then take a right from there, and so on and so forth. So you're able to communicate that understanding of your surrounding with the others. This is basically what it's saying, that where humans are unique is that we're able to communicate this understanding with the other world, or with the other people also. This is basically what it means to say, okay, this is where we are unique. And let's also read what's given in between the commas, with the possible exception of honeybees. Where humans are unique, though, with the possible exception of honeybees. So apart from us, honeybees can also communicate this understanding of their maps of their surroundings with other honeybees also. So humans and honeybees can do this. We have a long history of doing this by drawing maps. So we have a long history. How do we communicate with others? We communicate with others with the help of drawing maps. The earliest version get discovered was scrawled on the cave walls 14,000 years ago, human cultures have been drawing them on stone tablets, paper, and now computer screens ever since. So we have been communicating with the help of, like, we have been drawing it on the cave walls some 14,000 years ago. Then we are also drawing it on tablets, paper, and now computer screens ever since. So what they have done in the first paragraph is that they have introduced a concept, they have introduced the topic that is basically regarding maps, and they have like given us some introduction, like how do humans communicate with others. It's basically like this first paragraph is all about the introduction, and that's it. And like couple of points about history, that how we used to draw maps in the history, and then how we are doing it in the current scenario. In the current scenario, we are doing it on the computer screen. 14,000 years ago, we have been doing it on the cave walls. This is basically what the first passage is all about. Now we do understand that this passage is all about, it's going to be about the maps, humans and maps. It's going to be about two things, humans and maps. This is something that I can figure out using the first paragraph. Alright, and it's going to be, I can also sense it that it's going to be more of an informative passage. This doesn't look something on which author is going to have his subjective thought process in between. It's going to be more of an information. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead. This is what I could sense after reading the first paragraph. Let's move on. It says that given such a long history of human map making, it perhaps surprising that, I think there should be a word, it should be there, that it is only within the last few hundred years that North has been consistently considered to be at the top. Very important line. We have a very long history of map making. But it has been only last few hundred years that North has been consistently considered at the top, which means initially North was not considered to be at the top. Initially North was not considered to be at the top consistently. In fact, for much of human history, North almost never appeared at the top, according to Jerry Broughton, a map historian. North was rarely put at the top for the simple fact that North is where darkness comes from. So Jerry Broughton says that North was rarely put at the top for the simple fact that North is where the darkness comes from. West is also very unlikely to be put at the top because West is where the sun disappears. So according to Jerry Broughton, North and West are out. North is out for the fact that this is from where the darkness comes from, and West is out for the fact that this is where the sun sets. So West is out, North is also out. Let's move on. Confusingly, early Chinese map seems to buck this trend. Now, buck this trend basically means that you're going on a contradiction. You're going on the contradiction. So usually the maps, they didn't have North or West on the top. So Chinese maps seem to buck this trend. So their Chinese maps are basically in contradiction with the other maps. But Broughton says even though they did have compasses at that time, that ain't the reason that they placed North at the top. So they had compasses, but that's not the reason why they placed North at the top. Early Chinese compasses were actually oriented to point south. Okay, so they were oriented to point south, which was considered to be more desirable than deepest, darkest north. So the early Chinese compasses, they used to point south, which was considered to be a more desirable than deepest, darkest north. Again, the same thing, deepest, darkest north. Okay. In the previous paragraph also we read something regarding the darkness which comes from the north. But in Chinese maps, the emperor who lived in the north of the country was always put at the top of the map. In Chinese map, the emperor who used to live in the north, he was put at the top of the map with everyone else, his loyal subjects, looking up towards him. So this can be the reason. Let me use another color for this. This can be the reason from here to up till here that why in Chinese map there is a possibility of having north at the top, because the emperor who lives in the north of the country was always put on the top of the map, and everyone else, his loyal subject, used to look up to him. In Chinese culture, the emperor looks south because it's where the winds come from. So in Chinese culture, emperor looks south because that's from where the winds come from. It's a good direction. North is not very good, but you're in a position of subjection to the emperor. So look up to him, says Broughton. Now, Broughton says that north is not a very good direction because for the obvious reasons, that is, it's the deepest, darkest north. But you are supposed to look up to your emperor. You have to do that because he's the king. Okay, let's move on. So in the third passage, they are again now they are talking about Chinese maps and how they are bucking the trend and why. And why? They have given you both the reasons. Given that each culture has a very different idea of who or what they should look up to, it's perhaps not surprising that there is a very little consistency in which early maps pointed. In which way early maps pointed. Important line, very important line. The author says that every culture has a different idea, every culture had their different reasons of where they should look up to or to whom they should look up to. So it's perhaps not that surprising that we never had a consistent direction, in which the early maps should point. In ancient Egyptian times, the top of the world was east. Now, in ancient Egyptian, the top of the world was east, the position of sunrise. So for Egyptians, it was according to the sunrise. For Chinese, it was according to the emperor. Early Islamic maps favored south at the top because most of the early Muslim cultures were north of Mecca. Now, Mecca is like the most important place for Muslims, so they're gonna look up to Mecca. So for them, north became at the top. For them, the north became at the top, so they imagined looking up south towards it. So it's something like this. So you have, let's suppose, Mecca here, which is like the south. You can imagine this also, and most of the countries are on the north of it. So the people are supposed to look up to Mecca, so south automatically comes on the top. So they have their reasons. Islamic groups have their own reasons. So I think there should be a full stop here after towards it. So we have different reasons. We have different reasons for Chinese people. We have different reasons for Egyptians. We have different reasons for Islamic groups or Islamic maps. Okay. Moving on, Christian maps from the same era. Now we are talking about Christians also. Christian maps from the same era called Mappa Mundi put east on the top. Now Christians used to put east on the top towards the Garden of Eden with Jerusalem in the center. So they have their own reasons. So this first statement, which is given by the author, that each culture has a very different idea. So he has given us like a couple of examples also to make us understand that everyone had their own reasons. That's why we had a very little consistency. So we have such a long history of map making. But we never had a fixed north at the top. Okay, and in these two paragraphs, that is regarding the Chinese, and then you're talking about Egyptians and Christians and Islam and all those things. So author is like trying to make us understand, like, because of what reasons we never had north at the top from the start. Okay, these two paragraphs are trying to explain us that one line. Okay, he is elucidating on that fact, or he's trying to make us understand that one important line. This one, this. Okay, so these two paragraphs, that is third and the fourth one, is trying to make us, or they're basically elaborating on the first two lines of paragraph number 2. Okay, that's the role of third and the fourth paragraph. Last one. So when did everyone get together and decide that north was at the top? So now the question is, when did everyone decide? It's tempting to put it down to European explorers like Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan. Now it says that it's tempting. It's not saying that it's owing to them. It's saying it's tempting to put it down. Like you really want to say that it's because of them, but it's like tempting. It's not actually because of them. Let's see, does the author provide us with the reasons? To Ferdinand, who were navigating by the North Star, but Broughton argues that these early explorers didn't think of the world like that at all. The explorers, they never thought of the world like that at all. When Columbus describes the world in its accordance with east being at the top. So Columbus is describing the world according to east being at the top. What Christians used to follow. Columbus says he's going towards paradise, so he's mentally from a medieval mappa mundi. We have got to remember at Broughton that at the time no one knows what they are doing and where they are going. So it's tempting to say that it's because of Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan who were navigating according to the North Star. But Columbus, the way he describes that's in accordance with east being on the top. That's being like east being on the top. And who used to put east on the top? Ancient Egyptian times, world was east. Yeah, so Christian maps, they used to put east at the top. So he was going according to the Christian maps. So it's tempting, but like they are not the reason basically. They are not the reason. So the passage doesn't provide us like who is the concerned person or like how did actually North came on the top, but he does provide us with the reason that why was North not the top during the early stages of map making. Okay, so it's the passage is like informatory and author is completely neutral. He doesn't provide any criticism. He's not very happy about any fact. It's simply an information passage. The tone is entirely neutral. So I don't think we have to worry too much regarding the passage. The questions I believe would be more on the fact base. Inference I doubt because author has no opinion. It's all about facts. That's it. Anyways, let's see what we can do. Alright, so let's start with question number 1. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the process of elimination. We're going to first eliminate whichever options are like factually incorrect or like we know that this cannot be our answer. Okay, and whatever is left, if we have to go back to the passage and read, then it's fine. Otherwise, we have our mental notes ready. I hope you also do. You also have that. And let's start with question number 1. Okay, which of the following best describes what the passage is trying to do? The first question I told you that this is the kind of question that you will expect in every reading comprehension. Okay, it questions on explanation on how the maps are designed. Okay, now the entire passage doesn't ask us any question. It questions. The entire passage never asks us any question, and it doesn't ask any question on how the maps are designed. They never did that. The author never did that. He never questions anything. So A, I know it's definitely out. A, I know it's definitely out. It corrects a misconception about the way maps are designed. This can be our answer. See, understand. The reason is, again, if you go to paragraph number 2 and line 1, given such a long history of map making, it's perhaps surprising that it is only within the last few hundred years that the North has been consistently considered to be at the top. Because we know that we consider North at the top in our maps. So with this line, author is trying to say it the other way. He's saying that no, it's a misconception. North is not always on the top. It's only in the past few hundred years that we have started taking North at the top. Otherwise, North was not at the top from the start itself. So this is a misconception to us. Okay, so we are going to keep B on hold. If nothing else suits, then B is our answer. C says it critiques a methodology used to create the map. So I don't think they like the author has reviewed any methodology. Critic basically means to review something. They have not reviewed any methodology. They have not done that. The author did not do that in the entire passage. So this is incorrect. Critique some methodology. This is completely incorrect. C goes out. D says it explores some myths about the map. I don't think we're talking about any myths. It's simply facts. That's it. He has simply given us facts in the entire passage. So D is also out. So basically, this is what the entire passage is all about. And I also told you that the third paragraph and the fourth paragraph, they are all talking about that one line. They are all providing justification for these two lines. That's it. That north was not at the top from the start. And they have given us proofs, they have given us evidence, they have given us two paragraphs based on that. Okay. So our answer is option number B. That's the closest one. Let's move on to the second one. Early maps did not put north at the top for all of the following reasons except. Now we had a lot of reasons. Okay, so we're going to go option by option. Whichever of them is not the reason, we're going to take that into consideration. Otherwise we're going to remove it. North was the source of darkness. So if you remember, north was the source of darkness. That was mentioned by the so Jerry Broughton, a map historian, says north was rarely put at the top for the simple fact that north is where the darkness comes from. So north is where the darkness comes from. Paragraph number 2. So option number A is out. B says south was favored by some emperors. Now south was never favored by any of the emperors. It says that in case of China, the emperor used to live on the north and his subjects were used to live in the south, and they used to look up to him. An emperor used to look towards the south for the fact that that's from where the wind comes. But as far as the map making is concerned, Chinese maps always have north at the top because the emperor stays at the top. That was the reason. Emperor watching south was not the reason. Okay, that's just an extra piece of information, nothing else. So we're going to keep B on hold because this looks like the except one can be the answer for our question. C says east and south were more important for religious reasons for some civilization. I guess they were. East was from, I think, Christians, and south was for Islam. Yeah, so Christian maps, they used to put east at the top, and Islam favored south at the top because most of the early Muslim cultures were north of the Mecca. So okay, C is also out. D says east was considered by some civilization to be a more positive direction. East was considered by some civilization to be a more positive direction. I think that is also correct for the fact that in ancient Egyptian times, the top of the world was east, the position of a sunrise, and also this Christian, they say from the same era, put east on the top towards the Garden of Eden with Jerusalem at the center. So east was considered by some civilization to be a more positive direction. So D is also out, which means our answer is option number B. South was not favored by any of the emperors. That's not the reason. That's not the reason. Okay. All right. Let's move on to question number 3. All right. According to the passage, early Chinese maps placed north at the top. I think this one is a sitter. So it has nothing to do with magnetic north, nowhere mentioned in the passage completely. It's out. They wanted to show respect to the emperor. This is the answer we are actually looking for, but let's read C and D also. The Chinese emperor appreciated the winds from the south. See, again, this is an extra piece of information. This is not the reason. This is not the reason that Chinese maps placed north at the top because emperor wanted to look south. No. He used to look south just because the winds used to come from south. That's another piece of information. But it has nothing to do with why Chinese used to place north at the top. The actual reason is that because emperor used to stay at the top and all his subjects were supposed to look north. That's why north was at the top. and north was considered the most. Now they have not mentioned as the most desirable direction. This is nowhere mentioned in the passage, so D is also out. So this one was Sitter. This was simply option number B. All right, let's move on to the fourth one. It can be inferred from the passage that European explorers like Columbus and Magellan, okay, option A, set the precedent for north up maps, navigated by the compass, used an eastward orientation for religious reasons, navigated with the help of early maps. Now, if I'll be very frank, like you just have to read these options and I'll simply remove A, I'll simply remove B, and I'll simply remove D. This is nowhere mentioned in the entire passage. They never set the precedent for north up maps. See, again, understand, I mark that line also, that it is tempting to put it down to European explorers. It is tempting to put it down to them. It's not that it's because of them we are using north at the top of the map. No, it's tempting to put it down. It is tempting to put it down to them, but they are not the reason. Okay, so that's why A goes out. Second, B says navigated by the compass. That's nowhere mentioned in the question. The word compass was only mentioned for Chinese people. Okay, it was nowhere mentioned for Columbus and Magellan. So B is anyways out. D says navigated with the help of early maps. I don't think it's anywhere mentioned in the entire passage that Columbus was navigating with the help of the maps. No. If we go back to it, we can read, we can go through the exact reasons also. Yeah, not this one. Yeah. Columbus says he's going towards paradise. He is going towards paradise. So his mentality is from the medieval Mappa Mundi. His mentality is from medieval Mappa Mundi. It's not saying that he's following ancient maps. His mentality is from medieval Mappa Mundi. And he was traveling in the east. Like his thoughts was like he's traveling in accordance with the east being on the top, which is written in the line before this one, the one that I've marked with the green color. Okay, so navigated with the help of early maps, so this is also like completely out. So it has to be option number C. That's the only relevant information which is given to us in the question. All right, next question number 5. Which one of the following about the northern orientation of modern maps is asserted in the passage? Which one of the following about the northern orientation of modern maps? You understand? It's talking specifically about the northern orientation of modern maps. Northern orientation of modern maps. Modern maps. Not medieval maps, not any maps, modern maps. The biggest contributory factor was the understanding of magnetic north. I don't think anywhere in the entire passage they have mentioned magnetic north. So this is anyways out. This is anyways out. B says the biggest contributory factor was the role of European explorer. Again, it's tempting. It's tempting. Okay, there's a difference. You read the passage carefully. Every word counts. It's tempting. It's not that they are the biggest contributory factors. No. This would be incorrect if we say this. The biggest contributory factor was the influence of Christian maps. Nowhere mentioned. Nowhere. Frankly, they have not mentioned anything regarding the northern orientation of the modern maps. Like what's the contributory factor? They haven't answered that. See, this is what I told you. The passage was about like why the north was not at the top during the ancient times and for so many years. The passage never spoke like how did north came on the top. The passage never spoke about that thing. The passage only spoke to us regarding why north was not at the top. What were the reasons? The passage never spoke the other way around, that how did north came at the top. The passage never spoke to us regarding that. Understand that. That's important. So it has to be option number D. that the biggest contributory factor was never mentioned to us in the passage. All right. All right. So this is the last question that we have to do. So the role of natural phenomena. All right. The role of natural phenomena in influencing map making conventions is seen most clearly in. We are talking about natural phenomena. All right. So we're going to go one by one. Okay. Chinese was because of the emperor. And that I believe it's not a natural phenomena. Islamists were, that was regarding the Mecca, and Christians, they were also about what was the exact wording that they have used, put east on the top towards the Garden of Eden with Jerusalem at the center. So this was about the Garden of Eden. And what was the reason for Egyptians? Okay, in ancient Egyptians times, the top of the world was east, the position of the sunrise. Sunrise position. Now, out of the four options, which of the following is the natural phenomena? The only natural phenomena is the sunrise position. It's a natural phenomenon that sun rises from the east and sets in the west. It's a natural phenomenon. Pointing it towards Mecca or pointing it towards Emperor or pointing it towards the Garden of Eden, that's not a natural phenomenon. Okay, that's what humans have decided. Okay, so B, C, and D are completely out. Okay, so this was more or less everything regarding this passage that you need to know. So it was another medium difficulty level passage. Like just a couple of things where you could have gone wrong, and the questions were typically easy. The reason being is that the passage is easy. The passage is all about facts. Okay. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos and exam related content. If you have any doubts, any queries, any questions, please do let us know. You can WhatsApp us, you can mail us, or you can drop a comment also. And please share the video with your friends. Help them also in learning and growing up. And if you're looking for any personalized classes, any individual classes, you can always contact us. Okay. So thank you so much and keep watching and keep learning guys.